Hi everyone, Deep the Knee Breath Tano, the internet's most food-poisoned music nerd, and it's time for a review of this my new band Believe album. Yes, here we have the debut album of my new band Believe, a new project masterminded by singer-songwriter, multi-instrumentalist Mr. Cameron Picton, hailing from the UK and formerly a member of the now-defunct progressive and experimental rock project Black Midi. Now, if you remember, their breakup was announced very suddenly several years ago over Instagram by one of its members, Jordy Greep, who quickly announced his new solo album afterwards. A record that was released to rave reviews for sure, but to everyone else just standing around blindsided by this information dropping mere days before a solo album announcement, you're just going to get insane levels of whiplash. Not to mention Matt's tragic passing, one of Black Midi's founding members. But thankfully, despite all of this devastation and bad news, Cameron was able to slowly build things up into this new project here with a series of solo shows, independent DIY releases, and teaming up with members of bands like Caroline and Shame to kind of build up the roster of musicians and engineering muscle that would be necessary to put this record together. The final product here is an 8-track affair without really a moment to waste, and despite standalone singles like Numerology having a progressive, aggressive, and very intricate bent, songs that actually made it onto the record like Love Story provide a pretty strong contrast, being much more sad and whimsical with these themes of lost love being juxtaposed against images of sweet domestic life cooking together and being in love. It's simultaneously heartening and heartbreaking and is backed up with these theatrical piano and string passages, which are all very well arranged and make total sense given Caroline's tie into this project. And going deeper into this record, Cam most definitely doubles and triples down on this sound that is much more folk than rock, but still quite progressive in many ways. Whether it's the winding song structures, the dramatic swells of arranged instrumentation, singing from different perspectives, and I definitely see a lot of potential crossover appeal with fans of artists like Joanna Newsom and Richard Dawson. I think you would dig this if you were really enjoying the recent Black Country New Road record. But for me, one of the clearest points of reference for this record in my eyes are albums like Grizzly Bear's early work, or even the recent Daniel Rawson solo record, as this album too also shares a lot of wonderfully played and executed spiraling guitar arpeggios, and some truly intriguing chord progressions too. The record also features these very soft, persistently double-tracked lead vocals that almost feel like something off an Elliott Smith album, though I kind of doubt whether or not they fully work in this context. For something such as this that has its moments that are so bold and over the top and loud and dynamic, which at least for me does make the vocals one of the most glaring issues with this project, especially in their quietest and most low-key moments, where Cam's singing sounds almost inaudible in comparison to the loudest passages and swells that any given song might have to offer. And while a louder, more expressive performance could help, I'm kind of inclined to believe it's more of a production issue than a delivery issue. Which again, slightly disheartening because there are a lot of standout lyrical moments on this record right from the start, whether it's Target Practice, which I don't think I've ever heard a song that sounds so fanciful, but yet its lyrics are so deeply steeped in these feelings of anger and vengeance, especially during these rushes of strings that are quite beautiful that are matched with these refrains of "Don't cry, you deserve this." The track is equal parts powerful, strange, and hilarious. It's like the opening theme of a musical that's just bursting at the seams with demented levels of tension. And I think the following, In the Blink of an Eye, further delivers on that vibe, especially with lyrics like, "I wish you would kiss me before it's all too late, but if you're gonna kick me, babe, at least let me pick the place." This is a roller coaster of a track at 5 minutes with brisk guitar passages, persistent drumming too. It's a track that simultaneously sounds gorgeous, but also like it could explode at any given moment. And I suppose that feeling does manifest in the themes in this track around needing to escape from someone's life, disappear, even feeling trapped on some level, sick of this person. Now, as strong as this record starts, I will say not every lengthy progression is as engaging as this one. While I do love the Yes-inspired intro on Heart of Darkness, as well as the continued themes of Escape 2, the track really takes us on quite the journey with these orchestral ascents and like combinations of drums and guitar licks that sound like they're straight out of the Eastern Bloc. But the track eventually around its midpoint loses all momentum and sort of devolves into this very strange, somewhat dissonant, spacious outro that I really have no feelings toward whatsoever. Like, it's really just killing time on a pretty trim album to begin with. The song Pearls, unfortunately, is similarly underwhelming. I feel like this track brings more show from the various orchestrations in the mix than, you know, a memorable song at its core. However, Opposite Teacher, I do think brings a much more solid tune at its base. I love the rush of maximal strings at the very finish that leaves little room for anything else to breathe. Meanwhile, Actress is the second longest track on this record at 8 minutes and 20 seconds, but this song I actually think does a lot more to bring connective tissue between its various parts and progressions. It's a much more fluid and cohesive track, and extravagant in a word. A really thorough and biting character portrait too. The track also reaches quite the finale, but then following this, One Night is almost like a calm after that storm, but it also serves as the closing track too. And as much as I do think Cameron pens some of the best lyrics on the album on this song, its kind of sudden cliffhanger ending does leave a lot to be desired, as well as his vocal delivery being as understated as it is. But yeah, overall with my new band Believe, I went into this with pretty high hopes, and I would say the record mostly lived up to the hype for me. There are definitely some elements of Cameron's sound and his songwriting that I certainly wanted more from, but as it stands, this is probably going to be one of the better progressive folk albums we hear this year, which is why I'm feeling like a decent 7 on it. Transition, have you given this album a listen? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? You're the best, you're the best. What should I review next? Hit the like if you like. Please subscribe. Please don't cry. Hit the bell as well. Over here next to my head is another video you can check out. Hit that up or the link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, my new band Believe, forever.